Good morning guys, and welcome to this video, which will be a tutorial, and actually my first ever tutorial on how to do stuff other than the figure painting videos I have done. And today we will be looking at how to build a cobblestone road and a fence that is well, close to the road with materials that cost you no more than €5. And I got the idea for that kind of thing when I did it from a diorama that I'm planning and I'm building. And yeah, I thought it would be interesting to show you guys how I do it. And I think it's a very, very simple and cheap way to create cobblestones, which are rather expensive if you want to buy them. And I think it adds even more life to the scenery. And the fence, yeah, I think just looks cool. And so without further ado, let me take the camera down and show you guys the materials that Alright guys, let's take a look at the materials that we will be using for the Cobblestone Straight and the fence. Well, first of all, let's start with the normal plywood diorama base. That's homemade. Just put a piece of plywood down, just add some wooden frame. I screwed it down, although I PVA'd it, and then I screwed it down just to ensure that the hole is really tight and that the base just doesn't warp. You can get that probably, you don't get it that small, but you get the piece of plywood for about €2, and this might be one piece of square wood, like a meter long, for like €3, but you can use that for probably 2 dioramas, so that's good. And after we have now settled that, we of course need some clay. I'm using this is the Fimo Air Basic modeling clay from Statler. This is a 1 kilo batch that was €5, that has already lasted me for 3 dioramas, and big ass dioramas, I have to say. So that will is long-lasting stuff, and it stays usable within the packaging. You don't need to do anything. So once we have this down, we of course need to well, build our cobblestone, and we use cork. This is a 4mm thick cork plate that is a diameter in size. Actually, that is not a diameter anymore, but the plate I bought was a diameter in size for €6. But you only need like, maybe for a road that as big as from this corner to this corner, probably you need that much of this. So this will last you for, or the diameter one lasts you for at least 10 like, what am I saying? You can build everything out of that. So it's not just for one diorama. Of course, we need glue to put it down. This is very expensive German wood glue, very expensive PVA. This is 550 grams for €11. So this is not cheap stuff, but it's good stuff. You can get cheaper PVA. I'm just using this. And I'm using this. This is just pre-mixed wall filler. I use this to fill the gaps between the cobblestones. How I take it off the cobblestones I will show you guys later. I'm using a toothbrush for that. And I'll show you guys exactly how I do it. And of course then we use our acrylics. For the fence, I use this. This is a round piece of wood that was 85 cents of €1, a meter long. You can build like 10 fences out of that. That's for posts. And the actual wood that goes between them is for free. Those are the coffee stirrers from Burger King or McDonald's, wherever you go, or maybe even your coffee shop. You can get those. Those are pan stirrers. You just break them into the length you need to go on your fence. And then of course you paint them in a wooden color. So those are the materials that we will be using. And why don't we start and put this there. Okay, guys, now we have everything that we need. I put some rubber gloves on. We have the Fimo, we have the base, and we have a bit of water. You always need to have a bit of water so you can keep your fingers moist in order for the clay to be workable. I will start doing this now. I will have the time lapse on, so here we go. While the stuff is dry, let's just take the opportunity that it gives us and start putting in the fence, whatever, the sticks that build the fence, because that's a good way to fix them. I just cut up the round piece of wood into small little, like, I think 2 or 3 centimeter long sticks. And then we have to decide where we will put our fence. And I would say we put it here. So we have a smallish area that's behind the fence so we can have a bigger street. And then you just take it, you decide which way to point it, and I think this way would be good. You press it in. It creates a hole. Then you take your PVA and just add a drop of PVA. Not much, just a drop. And then you put your stick back in. Like this. And now the stick will stand in there and you will be able to fix it there. You take the next stick. You just try to, I don't know, to make it as imperfect as possible when it comes to distance between the different poles, because you don't want to have like a perfectly built fence. And you can put them in like crooked or fallen over if you want to. But we will just build a normal fence right here. Set, just put a dent of PVA in there. Take your wood and shove it in. And as you can see, I made too many of them, because now we can use the third one. And if you do it like I did, I just broke them off. You have some nice wood effects with some broken out wood, which just adds a bit of interest, I think. You just press it in, add PVA, and add your stick. And just to create a bit of interest, we will just have one of them set a bit crooked. Alright, so that's the poles for the fence. Now in the fimoyer. Now we will come back once it's dry, and then we start with the next step. Alright guys, so now is the time to start and building our bricks for the Cobblestone Straight. And this is a carpenter's knife, or yeah, a cutter knife, because you don't probably want to use your hobby knife and a rather brittle blade. When you compare the blades, you can see the difference here. You don't want to use that, because that can easily break off when you're working with stuff like torque. And you don't want to use a straight edge for that, because if you use a straight edge, all the bricks will be, all the stones will look the same, and you want some diversity. So you have to decide, and we have to decide first whether or not we want our road to have kind of like a frame outside, like, or if we just want to have a normal street and a normal road without the sidewalk, which is what we are going for here. It's just going to be a street somewhere in the, somewhere in the Ardennes or something like that. Just a normal street, nothing major or anything. So you take your knife, you take your cork, and you just decide on a thickness. I go with, well, roughly a centimeter, and you just try to cut as straight as possible without being perfectly straight. And as you see here, I just messed that up. I have to go in there again because that was too thin. And you don't want to have the cut ready after the first, and then you just go in there again, and this time you want to make the final cut. You want to get through the cork because it's rather thick at 4 millimeters. You have to give it at least 2, maybe even 3 goes before you have it. And don't worry about inaccuracies when it comes to thickness here. Normal cobblestones aren't all the same width or size. So once you have cut that, you just take your knife and you just cut like that. And I will now do this in warp speed. The base is dried now. We can now take our cobblestones and start to build the road. We will of course use our white glue here, and we will just start out by outlining where we will start with our road. And we can either pick this corner or this corner. I like to start with the corner, you know, so that I have a starting point, but I'm gonna do it differently this time for you. We will do it this way, so we have an outline. Now we just put a white glue on, and then we take our cobblestone here, we put it on there, and we of course have to leave some smallish gaps between them. That we will later fill with our ready-made wall putty. And you don't need to be accurate doing this. You can put them sideways. You can create a curvy road. No matter what you want to do, everything goes here. That's why we use the cork, and that's why we cut it ourselves, just so the stones do not all have the same shape and form. Once I've done this first outline here, I will just go on and do just another line here with time warp, and then do a lot of things off camera here. This is how this will look to you. Of course, you will be a bit confused by the white glue now being in there, but you will have to leave this dry for at least a night before you can come back at it, and then we will add the pre-mixed wall putty, and then you will see how this turns out. So I will now do the rest off camera, and we'll show you guys the results just in a bit. Alright guys, here we are back, and now while we are waiting for the thing to dry, I have decided to go ahead and start building the fence and finishing up the fence. As you can see, I've cut one of the coffee stirrers from McDonald's into the necessary length here, and now I want to do something that I haven't done before. I want to create a broken fence part here, and we will be using two small pieces here that I have pre-broken. I'll break this again because it's too long, and they should kind of look like they fit. And we want to create the break in between here. So we take our wood glue and just put a small amount of it on there. Always keep cotton buds handy, because you will never it's hard to get the right amount of wood glue out and not spill everything. So once that's happened, you try and position your piece of fence, and you want to have it at least a bit crooked, I think, because it's broken. And then you position the other, and like so. And you can see of course there's still a gap in between, and it would look not natural because where's the part that's broken off? So we have to position one piece that is simulating the broken off part and put it on the floor in between the two. So you just take it and you just glue it down. Or I won't glue it down now because I still have to do some work on the Cobblestone Straight, but I will glue it down once the Cobblestone Straight is done, right before painting. So this is where we are now. So this will now sit overnight, so I can then tomorrow take this, as I showed you earlier, and start putting it on here so we close the gaps between the stones. The fence will hopefully dry, and hopefully once that's all done, because this stuff dries really fast, we can start painting the thing tomorrow, because this only takes 1 hour to dry. So maybe tomorrow we will be able to start getting some paint on that. So let's just take this away, and when I'm back, I'm back. Alright guys, now that we have this thing dried, it is now time to start and fill in the gaps between the cobblestones. And as I said, I'm using this pre-mixed wall filler. The bottle was like €5 or €4, I'm not entirely sure, and it's 330 grams, and that will get you through at least 2 or 3 roads like that. And as you can see, it comes with a nice applicator tip here, and I do it like, I don't know, I just take it, press it, hope it comes out of there. Yes, there it comes. Just put it on there, and I'm not very careful with where I put it. You don't need to be. You just want it to be on there. And you take a toothbrush and you just brush over this. Just brush over. And of course you want to clean the top of your stones to a certain extent so that you can see the top of the stones. You can see, this is the look of it. If there are gaps that you don't like because you think they are too wide, you can go over it again after it's dry. So then you go on, and you always want to do this like step by step. You don't want to go too overboard. You don't want to overdo it, because if you overdo it, you will have a hard time getting it off. Of course, you can use pre-mixed grout and that kind of things, It's just tough to get here. And I think that the way I do it with the toothbrush is simple, easy, and well, fast way of doing it, because you can use the toothbrush both to fill the gaps and to clean out the top of the stones. If there's too much of the stuff caught in your toothbrush, just brush it off, or you can use water. You should always have water close to your bench. I will just now continue doing the rest of the road in the time lapse. As you can see, I have done even more than I said I'd do off camera. I have primed the thing in Revell Matte 82 Docker. What will ensue now is putting on the color for the cobblestones, which would be Matte 74 Gunship Gray. And you want to do this by brush painting. Using an airbrush would cover all the sections that you just painted in between the stones. Well, so you really want to brush paint this on. And you really want to focus on the top surfaces of the pricks first, of the cobblestones. Because you can deal with the edges of the cobblestones in a second step, a much easier second step. You always want to keep your paint well diluted and well thinned so that you don't have problems with thickness of paint. And yeah, you want to keep the paint on the cobblestones and not in the sections in between them, because you want to keep that to your brownish color that you put on first. So I will now put on time lapse, and you will see me painting the road, or maybe even only parts, and then I'll show you guys the finished results. Alright guys, here you see where I'm at right now. The paint is now on and it's dry, and the next step would be to add a wash. Well, this is oil paints and odorless turpentine, which I will now just deliberately put on. You want to be very deliberate with it. You just really want it to be everywhere. You want it to go into all the nooks and grannies. You want to put everything, you want to have everything pop up, you know. And we will be taking off some of that wash with the cut and bud, especially of the stones. You want it to be in between the stones to give a bit more depth effect, but you want the stones to be, well, you want some wash on there, but you don't want them to be as black as they look right now. And we will do that with a cotton bud, but I will probably do that off camera because it needs to dry a bit, and then I'll do this, and then we come back and Once the wash is dry, we will then dry brush it and paint the fence, and then we are done. So not a lot more to do with the road. You can, of course, and I might do that at a different time, add some pigments like dust, but only to your liking. And I don't want to touch on that too much now. You could just as well use the pre-mixed MIG dark wash for this. This is not too dark for this step. So I guess I'll see you guys once the wash is dry. Okay guys, now here she is, all finished and all done. I just painted the wood in the same color. I painted the earth before applying the wash. That's the dark earth color, Revell Matte 82. Gave it a wash. I dry brushed the cobblestones with a lightened version of the base color, and that's all she wrote. I painted the frame black, but it's not of course the diorama itself isn't finished, but what I wanted to show you guys is finished. The cobblestone street and the fence, that took me about a day now, 1.5 days to finish all that. And I think all of you can do this just as good as I do, and or even better for that matter. And I hope you guys like this tutorial. I'm planning on doing more of those if I can come up with subjects that I think are worthy of doing. And I hope you guys like it, and I hope I was able to show you guys some techniques that you might use for your own dioramas in the future. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching this. If there are any questions concerning how I did it, or any other stuff surrounding this, just hit me up with a message. I will try to answer it as good as I can. And for now, this is Hot Modeling. Thanks for hanging in, and see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.